we still believe that you done these crimes. So until you look into that and you do those courses, you will not be released. So they call it probability. If you've been found not guilty in the courts of law, how can they regurgitate that and hold you accountable? So these are the things that we need to be discussing. Thank you. I don't want to take up too much.
What do you say? Yeah, because you're gonna have you're gonna have normal citizens or whatever, civilians, that will say, lock them up and throw away the key.
Okay, I'll say this.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? Not like that, but there's some people that are just unforgiving. They're just unforgiving. Let me land. Let me land. Yeah, they're just unforgiving. Yeah, and they don't believe. They might not believe in forgiving us. What do you say to them people? Because you have some people that do get released from prison and reoffend.
Okay,
and end up doing madness.
But you have to look at the root of it as well. For example, as well, I've worked with the Ministry of Justice. So in the sense of, I've gone into secure units and I've gone into prisons, I've given talks and so forth. And what was quite alarming as well, this year alone, do you know how much the Ministry of Justice have received? 13.8 billion for the criminal justice system. But where's that money actually going?
Yeah.
Because we ain't seeing it. It's going to the immigrants. Free Tommy.
Crazy,
I don't think it is going to the immigrants. I think as really? you probably know this figure more than I do, but to keep someone in prison for a year, I think it costs in the region of £75,000 to keep someone in prison.
Okay, so if you want to articulate in that sense, so an adult, it costs them roughly 48 to 50,000 a year. If you're talking about a young offender, it's 120,000. And if you're talking about a child, so secure unit, it's roughly about 180,000. So this is what we're playing with.
Of course, but this is the thing that the stuff you reference, I think most people, and the question you just asked about members of the general public or civilians or whatever you want to call them, that discussion about is the prison system actually working? I don't think society is even at a place where we're having a serious adult joint up discussion about it, because realistically, government after government has been in a place where they don't want to really touch it. Because, I mean, let's just be honest about it. If you look at the tabloids or you look at the Daily Mail, everything is about punishment. It's about these are the bad people, and they just need to be punished. No one's really taking what you would call like a practice-based or success-based model, which they do have in other countries. There are countries where reoffending rates are much lower. There are countries in which they have different kinds of, there's an emphasis on rehabilitation.
Do you know what do they do to help us rehabilitate?
But you're deluded though. I totally understand what you're actually saying as well. So you're talking about places,
mind games were gone,
especially like Denmark and so forth. But you're forgetting that the people within that country as well are all based on rehabilitation. That's
exactly the point I just made. That's what I said.
We're in a country here. See, you need to understand the historical significance of being in England. You need to also take it back to the 1300 and 1400, that the way that they treated the poor, the way that they treated their prisons was so barbaric that even the rest of Europe actually condemned them. So we're dealing with people that base things upon hypocrisy. Because I'll tell you why. There is 12 million people right now in this country that has a criminal conviction. So that means that all of us here is either we got a criminal conviction ourselves, either we've known somebody, whether it's in our families or if it's our friends. Now they say about, well, we don't care. Okay, I would say this. In the 1800s, they done a thing. Why do we call them screws in the first place? Like when you refer to an officer, because they used to screw you in. So they had a method. Because what? So what was their? They used to screw you into the door. So so their method was lock you up and throw away the key, and then you come out. But then they realized that residents became more ruthless when they came out, so they knew that wasn't working. So they know this. The system is broken, but people are scared to tell the truth because why? If you don't fear anyone, and so this is where we come as Muslims as well. I won't tell you, look, I believe in law and order, because without law, there's no order, and without order, there's total anarchy. I believe in justice first. And when there's no justice being served, then what happens? People become vigilantes and take matters into their own hands. Now, I've suggested as well, I won't only inform you and tell you about a problem, but I'd also give you the solution to the problem. And many times that people such as ourselves all here, we said that we're open for dialogue, we're open for communication, but there's too many gatekeepers.
So tell me this, in your experience when you were inside, did you ever, in any capacity, did you experience or receive what you yourself would judge to be rehabilitation? Did you get help in any way?
Yeah, when I prostrated my forehead in worship and I read my Quran and so forth.
So through religion?
Through religion.
But what about through the system that was implemented?
Yeah, they had enhanced thinking skills. You see, it's a difficult one there. Because I'll tell you why. A lot of the times, the people that you're engaging with as well have no pro-social skills. So it's very difficult, and depending on the geographical location, the demographics will determine in regards to how you're treated. So, for example, a lot of the long-term prisons are in rural areas where that they are not used of certain ethnicities. So to them, they perceive you as being a liar, being aggressive. I've been informed that I'm aggressive.
I hate
even
that.
though that they've basically said that Mr. Patterson's a very calm individual. Then they say that, oh, well, you're very calculated. I was told on my parole board by a psychologist as well that I suffered with glib, that I was insincere. And you know what her outcome was? She said,
your eyes.
She said,
aggressive eyes. And
she said, people.
You can see you will do madness.
She said, people like you don't talk like this. So that's what her definition was. Not understanding nothing about my history.
Yeah, your face is too mental for the calmness.
Forgetting, the actual reason a prison is there for. Because we put a lot of the emphasis on rehabilitation, this one. You go to prison to give the community a break.
Pinky's here for this episode.
Yeah, no, but you go to prison to give the community a break. Regardless whether you get rehabilitated or not. Because that's,
prison.
Normally you get a couple chances unless you've done a mad thing. But the whole point of them putting you in prison is so your community, regardless of it, can have a break from your repetitive crimes or whatever danger you possess to them, innit? So when we go to, yes, you're supposed to, part of being a man, you educate yourself, you do all these things, and there's a lot of people put it onto the not the screw, the justice system to change these people. When they come out, make them law-abiding citizens, and that's an impossible job. Let's have it right, because only someone can learn if they want to learn.
It's not an impossible job though.
Yeah,
and that's for someone else to do.
No, but I tell you the reasons why. Sorry,
no problem.
I have to elaborate here. Give myself as an example, so we don't point no fingers. So I came out. So I landed. I was more fortunate than others because normally a person lands straight on their face. I landed on my hands and knees.